Hello and welcome. In this video, we'll walk you through everything you need to know about ISO 9241 Guideline for Ergonomics of Human-System Interaction, in simple, clear terms. In a human-centered design process, each team has a clearly defined responsibility that must be followed. The UX design team must design user-centered interfaces based on user needs, tasks, and usability principles. They have to ensure that the experience is intuitive, efficient, and aligned with real user behavior. The software team must implement the interface logic while ensuring usability, performance, and accessibility requirements are met. They have to translate design into a functional and reliable system. The team lead must oversee the entire human-centered design process, coordinate between teams, and ensure that all activities comply with ISO standards and project requirements. Following ISO standards is essential to ensure better product quality and user experience. It improves overall user experience by making systems more intuitive and easy to use. It reduces errors and user frustration by ensuring designs are tested and validated. It also increases productivity as users can complete tasks faster and more efficiently. ISO standards help ensure legal and accessibility compliance, making products usable for a wider range of users. Most importantly, they provide a structured human-centered design framework, ensuring that user needs are always at the core of the development process. ISO 9241 defines a set of standards that guide human-centered design and usability in systems. Previously, we had covered ISO 924111 defines usability through measurable factors like effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction. ISO 9241-110 covers dialogue principles, guiding how users interact with systems in a clear and intuitive way. ISO 9241-112 focuses on information presentation, ensuring content is structured and easy to understand. ISO 9241-171 addresses accessibility in software, making systems usable for people with diverse abilities. Today we will cover ISO 9241-210 focuses on the human-centered design process, ensuring user needs are integrated throughout development. In addition, WCAG 2X standards define accessibility levels. Level A covers basic accessibility, Level AA ensures wider usability and is the industry standard, and Level AAA represents the highest level of accessibility compliance. Together, these standards ensure systems are usable, accessible, and user-focused. First, we'll walk through ISO 9241-210. It ensures systems are designed around real user needs, making them intuitive, efficient, and user-focused. ISO 9241-210. Usability definition and metrics establishes how usability is defined and measured in real systems. It includes effectiveness, efficiency, satisfaction, context of use specification, and measurement and documentation requirements. These collectively ensure usability is not subjective, but quantifiable and testable. In the context of use analysis phase, both the UX team and the software team must follow strict requirements before any design or development begins. The UX team must conduct 5 to 8 user interviews per segment to understand user behavior and goals. They must also perform at least 3 contextual observations in real working environments. UX researchers have to identify and document the 10 to 15 most critical user tasks. A critical task is a key user action that must be completed successfully for the system to deliver its core value. For example, in a food delivery app, placing an order is a critical task, because if the user cannot complete it, the system fails its main purpose. Environmental conditions such as lighting, noise, device type, and workspace constraints must also be recorded. All findings must be compiled into a context of use report, which must be completed before moving forward. A context of use report defines who the users are, what tasks they perform, and the environment in which they use the system. For example, in a food delivery app, it includes user types like customers and delivery agents, tasks like placing orders, and conditions like mobile usage, low network, and outdoor environments. The software team must evaluate technical feasibility early in the project. They have to define system infrastructure limits and expected system load. The system must maintain UI response time under 2 to 3 seconds, with 100 milliseconds considered instant feedback. Development must not begin until the context of use report is approved. In the user requirements specification phase, both UX and software teams must convert research into measurable and actionable standards. The UX team must translate research findings into clear usability metrics. The system must achieve at least 85% task completion rate, and user error rate must remain below 5%. User satisfaction must be measured using the system usability scale and must achieve a score of at least 70. Accessibility is mandatory, and the system must comply with WCAG 2.1 AA standards. The software team must convert these usability requirements into technical specifications. API response latency must remain under 500 milliseconds to ensure smooth performance. The system must maintain high reliability with uptime of at least 99.5%, and the system crash rate must remain below 1%. Uptime is the amount of time a system is working properly, while downtime is when it is unavailable. For example, if a food delivery app works all day except for 10 minutes of server failure, that is high uptime with minimal downtime. These requirements must be strictly followed to ensure both usability and system performance. In the iterative prototyping phase, both UX and software teams must follow structured and continuous development cycles. The UX team must develop prototypes in multiple stages. Design must begin with low-fidelity prototypes within 1 to 2 weeks, followed by mid-fidelity prototypes within 2 to 3 weeks. High-fidelity prototypes must represent near-final interactions and visual design. The team must complete at least 3 iterative cycles before release, and each iteration must be validated with 5 to 8 users to ensure usability and effectiveness. The software team must align development with agile sprint cycles. Development iterations must follow 2-week sprint timelines, ensuring consistent progress. Feedback from usability testing must be integrated every 1 to 2 sprints using continuous integration, continuous delivery. CI/CD workflow is a process where code changes are automatically built, tested, and deployed to ensure fast and reliable updates. For example, when a developer updates a food ordering app, the system automatically tests the code and deploys it, so users get the update without manual effort. In the user-based evaluation phase, both UX and software teams must ensure the system meets usability and performance standards through testing and monitoring. The UX team must conduct formative usability testing with 5 to 8 users and validation testing with 15 to 20 users. The product must achieve at least 85% task success rate, while critical user errors must remain below 3%. Time on task must be controlled and must not exceed 120% of the expert benchmark time to ensure efficiency and ease of use. Time on task means how long a user takes to complete an action. For example, if an expert completes a task in 1 minute, a new user should complete it within 1 minute 12 seconds. The software team must conduct load testing at twice the expected user capacity to ensure system stability under stress. After release, the team must continuously monitor system performance. The crash rate must remain below 1%, and system downtime must be maintained below 0.5% to ensure reliability and consistent user experience. In the lifecycle integration phase, both UX and software teams must ensure that human-centered design is maintained throughout the entire product lifecycle. The UX team must apply human-centered design from the discovery phase to post-release. They must actively participate in discovery research and user journey mapping to understand user needs at every stage. Even after release, UX teams must perform continuous usability audits to identify issues and improve the user experience over time. The software team must ensure that the system remains scalable and performs efficiently as usage grows. They must continuously optimize performance while also monitoring and improving system security and stability to maintain a reliable and secure product. In the multidisciplinary collaboration phase, teams must work together with continuous user involvement throughout development. The UX team must ensure continuous user involvement at every stage of the process. They must conduct usability testing every 1 to 2 agile sprints and ensure that all design decisions are based on research evidence, not assumptions. UX teams must also maintain proper documentation, including research reports, usability findings, and test logs. The software team must collaborate closely with UX designers, UI designers, QA engineers, product managers, and domain experts. They must support usability testing cycles and ensure implementation aligns with validated designs. The team must also maintain documentation, such as requirement traceability and system test logs, to ensure transparency and consistency across development. Next, we'll walk through WCAG 2.1, which provides accessibility guidelines for designing inclusive digital experiences. It ensures software and web interfaces are accessible, usable, and understandable for users with different abilities and needs. Moving toward accessibility in software, WCAG 2.1 provides internationally recognized guidelines for creating inclusive digital experiences. It helps ensure that applications are accessible and usable for people with different abilities and needs. WCAG 2.1 is structured into 3 compliance levels: Level A, Level AA, and Level AAA, each defining the degree of accessibility standards implemented within a system. WCAG 2.1 Level A must ensure basic accessibility so that all users can access and interact with the system. The UX team must ensure that designs meet basic accessibility requirements. Without Level A compliance, many users cannot access content at all. The team must provide alternative text for images and ensure full keyboard operability. For example, a user should be able to navigate a form using only the keyboard. The software team must implement semantic structure and logical navigation order in the system. For example, screen readers must correctly read content in sequence. Failure to meet Level A requirements will result in complete accessibility barriers, making the system unusable for many users. WCAG 2.1 Level AA must ensure that the system is accessible and usable for the majority of users. The UX team must design for accessibility across all users. Contrast ratio must be at least 4.5 to 1 for normal text and 3 to 1 for large text to ensure readability. Content must be designed to be resizable up to 200% without losing functionality. For example, when a user zooms the screen, text and buttons must remain clear and usable. The software team must implement and maintain Level AA compliance across the entire system. Functionality must remain consistent even when content is resized. Level AA must be treated as a mandatory standard to ensure accessibility in all public-facing systems. WCAG 2.1 Level AAA represents the highest level of accessibility, ensuring maximum usability for all users, though it is not always mandatory. The UX team must design with the highest accessibility standards in mind. Contrast ratio must be at least 7 to 1 for normal text to ensure maximum readability. The design must follow stricter requirements for readability and cognitive accessibility, making content easier to understand for all users. The software team must evaluate where Level AAA is applicable, especially in critical domains like healthcare, education, and government systems. However, not all AAA criteria may be practical for every interface, so implementation must be balanced while maintaining usability and performance. Accessibility is not the responsibility of a single team. It is a shared commitment between UX and software development. It must be embedded from the beginning, designed with clarity and inclusivity, and implemented with precision using proper standards and validation. The call to action is clear: design with intent, build with responsibility, and ensure accessibility is the default across every stage. Thank you.